Runaway groom. Fine, I'll run faster. The night before the wedding, I saw my fiancé Marcus cradling a girl I didn't know. The two of them gazed at each other like a movie still. Leia, you know I'm only marrying her for the merger. My back's against the wall. Don't make this harder for me. Okay? The girl pouted. If I crash the ceremony and steal you away, do you have the guts to leave with me? Marcus hesitated for all of 5 seconds, then nodded. Yes. I packed my bags that same night and ran faster than he did. I'm not joking. A corporate alliance. What feelings could there possibly be? Since the fruit won't sweeten once it's twisted off, I'll just twist it, toss it and walk away. I was getting married, my groom to be the Whitlock heir I'd known for 2.5 years. Our families were more or less evenly matched. We liked each other well enough after we met, so we sealed the deal. Marcus is 8 years older than me, calm and cold. We never clashed. He was busy running his empire. I loved jetting off to new places. We didn't see each other often, yet the relationship stayed steady. The two sets of parents picked a date and that was that. I'd assumed the rest of my life would follow the script. He earns the money. I keep the home. Peaceful days until we're old and gray. Then 24 hours before the aisle walk, I saw my fiancé with his arms around a stranger. His eyes brimmed with tenderness I'd never seen from him before. He stroked her cheek. Lila, I swear, even after I sign the marriage license, my heart will only ever be yours. If I come to steal you, do you dare run away with me? Leia had always been bold, passionate, unconstrained. Her love was a hot flame hot enough to scorch. Marcus had grown up inside the velvet cage of his dynasty, obedient since kindergarten. He'd never even slammed a door in adolescence. Leia's love was a grass fire. One spark and he caught crackling to light. He bent to kiss her, stubborn beyond his 30 years. If you show up, I'll walk out. But what about Sophia? She sprawled across his chest, cooing. Dumping your bride in front of everyone. Kind of rude, right? You're all I want. His voice was iron. Once the furor dies down, I'll crawl to her with my apology if I have to. She wilted in theatrical misery. We're the ones who truly love each other. Well damn. Turns out I'm the boulder blocking these star-crossed lovebirds. If the groom's ready to bolt, why on earth should the bride stick around? Had I not overheard, I can't imagine the joke I'd have become when the organ music started. I packed overnight, sped back to the Sinclair estate, and told Mom, Dad, and Adrian. My parents were ready to storm the Whitlocks on the spot. Adrian stayed icy. Let him run. I hope the Whitlock enjoys the fallout. Dad slammed the table. When their cash flow collapse hit, we pumped in $100 million only because the merger marriage was on the table. And now they want to blow up the bridge once they've crossed it. They sued me and said, "Thank God you found out in time. Better no ally than a snake. We torch this alliance ourselves if we have to." Afraid I'd spiral. Adrian ordered my favorite cake. Relax. Big brother's holding the roof up in this house. Nobody touches my little sister. I smiled. Got it. Love is just seasoning. Nice if you have it. No big deal if you don't. I'm young. My parents and Adrian adore me. And my trust fund has no bottom. If I sobbed into a pillow over some loser, I'd be losing money by the minute. 1 full minute wasted on that cheater feels like daylight robbery. I'd rather meet Chloe for cocktails. The ceremony was set for June 12th, my 22nd birthday, a Wednesday. Still, Whitman was packed. I sat in the second-floor bridal suite, watching through the window. In a corner below, Marcus and Leia were whispering. Thanks to the hidden feed, I heard every syllable. Marcus said, "Once the officiant calls us up, I'll walk over, take your hand, and you grab the mic and announce who your real love is." "Yes, Leia. My heart is yours alone." "Think Sophia will cry on the spot? If she throws a tantrum, what then?" "She wouldn't dare." His face darkened. "No one gets in the way of us. Not even her. If she makes a scene, will you pity her? Will you regret it?" "Regret? She's a stranger to me. If she humiliates herself, that's her problem." Leia beamed, rose on her toes and kissed him. "Soon you'll be mine. Oh, I love you." They hugged, murmuring, "Sweet toxins." I looked away and sat back. A corporate alliance, sure, but this was still my once-in-a-lifetime wedding. Every flower ball, every monogram, Every uplight at Whitman had taken 6 months of late-night arguments with designers to perfect. Marcus's entire contribution had been signing checks and shrugging. Whatever you like. I figured all men were like that. Now I know his mind was elsewhere. If he already had a woman in his heart, he should have said so instead of double-dipping. He wanted reckless passion and dynasty dividends in one tidy package. Every benefit on his plate, none on mine. And I get cast as the evil supporting actress, the stone in their glass slipper romance. Huh. Besides our 2 clans, the guest list is stuffed with board partners and political sisters. If he actually ran, he'd leave me standing there alone, nothing but a laughingstock. A moment later, the dressing room door cracked open and a weary head poked through. Layla's gaze met mine. She muttered under her breath. Thought she'd be prettier, nothing special. No wonder Marcus Adrienne's not into her. The words had barely left her mouth before my bodyguard forced her to her knees. Miss, we caught a gate crasher trying to steal. Ila's face flushed scarlet. Let go of me. I'm not a thief. Chloe stepped forward, finger jabbing. Look at those shifty eyes. Sneaking around for what exactly? I was just curious. I wanted to see what the bride looks like. Marcus, drawn by the noise, arrived just in time to see her pinned to the carpet. A vein throbbed at his temple. Instinctively he barked. Sophia, what kind of stunt is this? Let her go now. Leia's lips quivered in grievance. She almost flung herself toward him. At the last second she caught herself. I knew she was simply biding her time, saving her death blow for the climax of the ceremony. She was practicing restraint. Chloe strode over and slapped her. Open your eyes, Whitlock. This woman crashed the place to rob us. We're already generous not calling the cops. Marcus' temples bulged. He clenched his fists. You dared to hit her? Chloe flexed her wrist. A lousy thief who walked right up to us. Why can't I smack her? Or is she your side piece? Marcus snapped back to his senses and rushed to explain. She's just a kid who wandered into the wrong room. Why crucify her with fake charges? Real or fake, the police can sort it out. I stopped right in front of him. Don't forget, today's guest list is full of heavyweights. If something goes sideways, it'll look spectacularly bad. Marcus ground his teeth, then exhaled a brittle laugh. Sophia, it's our big day. Have a little mercy. Do it for my face, okay? Since we were already headed for Splitsville, why keep up the act? But I had no time to spar. My jet would touch down soon, so I shrugged. Already called them. Let the cops handle it. What? He paled, glaring in accusation. A tiny misunderstanding and you blow it up. Is this the magnanimity of a future Whitlock daughter-in-law? Interesting. Instead of scolding the thief, you scold the person who reported her. There's no evidence. He caught himself mid-sentence. I only meant today's a wedding, a happy occasion. Chloe sprang to my defense. So, you do remember you're marrying Sophia? For a second I thought the crook on the floor was your bride. I curved my lips in a faint smile. Forget it. Let her go. The woman on the floor bit her lip, then rose and stalked away, unwilling. Marcus almost chased after her but restrained himself at the last step. His mouth twitched several times, swallowing the curses he wanted to hurl. Sophia, with so many VIPs here today, keep the bigger picture in mind. Don't be childish. Get lost. Who gave you the right to lecture her? Think you still have face? Chloe, unable to contain her rage, slammed the door shut. When she first heard Marcus plan the runaway groom stunt, she'd grabbed a knife and nearly gone homicidal. I simply told her to sit back and enjoy the show. Otherwise, with Chloe's temper, Marcus wouldn't be at the altar. He'd be in an ICU bed. From the security feed, Chloe and I watched Marcus catch up to her. Leia, cheeks still burning, pounded his chest in wounded fury. Marcus Adrian, avenge me. His eyes brimmed with heartache. I'm sorry. I'll make them pay. Chloe and I exchanged a knowing smile. Just wait. The real show hasn't even started. The ceremony officially began. The officiant invited Marcus to the stage. Before he could speak, Leia stepped up and snatched the microphone. In an instant, Marcus clasped her hand. They gazed at each other, their eyes practically glued together. The guests sensed something off. Question marks floated above their heads. Yet, the scent of scandal was irresistible, and every gaze lifted. Marcus squeezed Leia's hand, visibly exhilarated, probably the first rebellious act of his life. His lips trembled several times before he found his voice. Everyone, I'm sorry. This wedding can't go on. The woman beside me is my deepest love. I want only her. Leia tilted her head to look up at him. Marcus Adrian, will you run away with me? The man nodded like he was pledging an oath. I will. Leia's smile turned smug. She shouted toward the closed door opposite. Sis Sophia, sorry, your man is mine now. Fearing his beloved might suffer, Marcus hurried to back her up. Sophia, I don't love you. Let go, he proclaimed righteously. This murder marriage was pure business. No affection involved. Save your dignity and stop hounding me. Sinclair, did you hear that? Please bless us. Their back-to-back declarations stunned the entire audience. Whitlock's face went purple. He clutched his chest, speechless. His son's outrageous stunt had caught even the family off guard. Everyone was blindsided. Yet the lovebirds on stage carried on regardless. Marcus, still believing I was hopelessly hung up on him, wore a haughty expression. Sophia, let's part peacefully. This is my personal decision. It has nothing to do with Leia. Don't target her later. Sinclair, face reality. All right. Marcus, Adrian doesn't love you. Be generous and step aside. They launched into another round of high-flown declarations, but no one answered. In Leia's imagination, I was supposed to storm the aisle, shrieking like a maniac and jabbing my finger in her face. That scene never materialized. Worse, the room was eerily quiet. The lovesick masks the two of them wore began to crack. Marcus wanted to accuse me, yet he couldn't find a single legitimate reason. The atmosphere turned awkward in a heartbeat. After all, if I refused to play, the clowns were them. Sophia, what kind of coward hides like this? Sinclair, come out and face reality. They held the microphone so tightly their own echoes bounced back. Guests started whispering, unable to hide their amusement. Marcus had to be furious, but with every eye on him, he couldn't lose control. His side was the guilty one. He swallowed the anger. Sophia, I know you're jealous, but is this little performance of yours even fun? Sinclair, can't you be a little more honorable? Does hiding solve anything? Just as Marcus' parents signaled security to haul them off, the far door swung open. A pig trotted in, scarf draped over its head, winking happily until it parked itself at Marcus's shoes. Adrian took the mic and looked down at him with a smirk. My sister left ages ago. By now, she's sipping something frozen in Hawaii. Hurry up and marry the pig. Then take it and get lost. The crowd roared. Whitlock barked. What is the Sinclair family playing at? If you never intended to marry my son, you could have said, so why turn this into a circus? Adrian's lip curled. So you do know the one turning this into a circus is your son. It finally dawned on them that the root of the fiasco was their heir. If he didn't want the wedding, he should have spoken up earlier. Now everybody looked ridiculous. Adrian was right. I was already on a sun-bleached Hawaiian beach. Powdery sand pillowed my feet, waves lapping at my ankles like warm silk. After a swim, Chloe and I found shade, collapsed onto loungers, and cracked coconuts while we watched Adrian's live feed from the chapel. The guest gift bags he'd handed out were stuffed with intimate photos of Marcus and Leia in every possible pose, one set for every attendee. Even in the realm of hot messes, this was thermonuclear. I opened iMessage. Instagram had detonated. People had snapped the photos, arranged them in 9-piece grids, and still had shots left over. I scrolled through, tapping like on every post. Someone uploaded a clip. Marcus and Leia stood on the altar, fingers locked, stubbornly waiting for my meltdown so their devotion could shine against my lunacy. Now who cares? Just two buffoons on public display. On screen Marcus tried to speak, but the hall was chaos. Did the Sinclair Aries actually ghost her own wedding? Hell, after meeting those two, I'd sprint out towing a freight train, but publicly humiliating them? She could have just said no. Adrian told him, marry the pig and scram. Are those clowns for real? Do they think their love story moves heaven and earth? Whitlock ground his teeth. Where is Sophia? Find her now. At that point, Marcus and Leia might as well have been wallpaper. Their expressions were masterpieces, mortified, frantic. They'd planned a dramatic runaway groom stunt. Yet nobody cared whether they ran or stayed. If they bolted, no one would notice. If they stayed, what was the point? Apart from playing the fools. Chloe lay on her lounger howling. Sophia, look at these dorks. She jabbed the screen. Still think they're center stage. Give me a break. I spread sunscreen in slow circles. Kinky hobby they've got there. She looped the clip back. Watch this part. Dead. The wedding trumpeted across the city, rocketed to the trending tab. Influencers crammed the escapade into 60-second reels. The star-crossed pair posing heroically, shouting into silence, then a pig's triumphant entrance. #Wheelope now sat at number 1. Marcus never got to escape. He became the punchline. He'd pictured me foaming at the mouth, trashing the altar, making the Sinclair name mud beside radiant, magnanimous Leia. In the end, we'd have to swallow the insult and hand the Whitlocks concessions. After all, their cash flow collapse meant they leaned on us for contracts. He never foresaw that I would ghost the scene too. They built the stage. They could finish the act. Chloe clucked her tongue. Dude's pushing 30 and pulls a teenage runaway stunt. I snorted. Cheaters in love. How poetic. The curtains yanked off, showing the ugly underneath. I can't wait to see what grand passion these two torch their lives with next. I gazed at sky and sea, drew on my straw. Then here's to the dog. May they last forever. How long can a couple last when their own families don't believe in them? While I was abroad, the Whitlock family scoured every corner for news of me. They even tried to weaponize public opinion, shaming me into returning to finish the ceremony. When they finally realized nothing would bring me back, they gave up. Word spread as Whitlock collapsed and was hospitalized. Whitlock summoned the ancestral paddle, thrashed Marcus, and then welcomed his illegitimate son home. Without the Sinclair lifeline, the Whitlock was already wobbling. Now it's in free fall. After all, if you can't trust them to honor a merger marriage, who's going to sign another deal? Any day now they could plant a knife in your back. Chloe told me all this with pure glittering relish. You should have seen Leia's face when she heard Marcus had been stripped of heir status. Priceless. I sipped my coffee, perfectly serene. Since Marcus chose love, let's not sully it with money. Now that the family has cut his credit line, let's see if their epic romance can survive on pure passion. One can hope. We were still chatting when Marcus rang. He only calls because the family must be squeezing him. His grand love story was built on the assumption he could control everything, not on being flat broke and frantic. On the line, his voice cracked with fury. Sophia, where the hell are you? If you're mad at me, say it. Why humiliate me? Do you even grasp the fallout? Because ghosting a wedding is ridiculously fun. I laughed. Conspiracy failed. So now you shoot the messenger? I wasn't trying to blow up the alliance. I just wanted them to accept Leia. She's a nobody. You know that. I have zero interest in your side piece. I cut him off. Send me a save the date and we'll come for the spectacle. Sorry, I meant the ceremony. Why can't you understand? 2 years together and you toss it away overnight. Not tossed, I chuckled. Then just as he started to feel vindicated, I added, I never felt a thing. A merger marriage works or it doesn't. I can carry it and I can drop it. You're terrifying. So cold. Exactly. If I weren't, I'd have eloped with the first loser who asked. Nothing else. I'm hanging up. Wouldn't want your girlfriend thinking I'm moving in on her turf. Chloe plucked the phone from my hand and deleted him, blocking him in one smooth sweep. Trash belongs in the bin, not on your contact list. Cheers to that. I poured her a glass of red in our studio. I love to travel. Chloe lives to shoot. She swore she'd follow me and her camera to the edge of the map, turning ordinary moments into magic. Cameras slung over our shoulders. We drifted across continents, and scraps of his life still drifted back to us. After the break, Marcus was kicked out of the penthouse too. Income severed. The former crown prince face-planted into the gutter. Leia worked fast. No wedding ring but a baby bump already showing. She paraded it in front of Whitlock, demanding legitimacy. A disappointment, yes, but still her flesh and blood. After the tears, Whitlock installed them in her private townhouse. Marcus had stormed out so heroically, only to slink back with his tail between his legs. A man that proud imagined the psychological whiplash. He told himself at least he had his great love. Then the petty daily wars began. Leia's small-town clan smelled money and camped on the doorstep. Their childhood's tastes and values clashed like cymbals. Pregnancy hormones turned Leia volcanic. Marcus' patience evaporated. Shouting matches became routine. Marcus once pictured love as one hand commanding an empire, the hand cradling a beauty. Now both hands came up empty, and the emptiness echoed. The illegitimate son had snatched his throne while Leia hustled in the ladies who lunch circle. Her favorite phrase, "Wire me cash." Marcus was already fried. This was the final splash of oil on the fire. When Chloe heard the updates, she just smirked. Karma. Afraid I'd brood, she slipped an arm through mine. Sophia, I'm not going anywhere ever. I shrugged, amused. Dull aging men. Better to cut my losses early. Damn right. Bye-bye baggage. Next. You're gorgeous and young. Options unlimited. I'll line up candidates tomorrow. I thought she was joking until she actually produced a lineup of college heartthrobs. All 20-somethings, bright-eyed and absurdly pretty. I tugged her aside. What is this? Casting for a harem? Kids pick favorites. Adults collect the whole set. Of course she was only teasing. These were friends from her shoots. Shared passions, wavelengths aligned. Hanging out with them felt like breathing pure oxygen. 2 years later, Marcus and I crossed paths again. Between backpacking and photo trips, Chloe and I had started a live stream just for fun and accidentally collected 1 million followers. Plant a seed without trying, and the shade finds you. Every cent we earned online we funneled into rural scholarship villages. We know exactly what we are. Small dreamers who can't rewrite a nation, but maybe the kids we bankroll will. We handpicked every recipient. Kids from dirt-poor families who refused to let poverty kill their pride. Straight-A types with spotless hearts. We just wrapped a volunteer trip when we ran into Marcus in Pinehaven. He was stubbled and rumpled. The once crisp suit was now creased like last week's laundry. The second he saw me, he flinched. Then he straightened, chin up, and marched over. Mind if I sit? Haven't seen you in ages. Sorry, this seat's taken. My boyfriend arrived with 2 gelates. Mind grabbing another table? Marcus gaped as if I'd swapped him for a newer model. Sophia, how could you meet Peyton? I said, bright and easy. Youngest Vance heir, my murder marriage fiancé. A spark lit in Marcus's eyes. Just a merger. Peyton laced his fingers through mine, eyebrow cocked. Yeah, the kind that won't bolt from the altar. Sophia, it's ancient history. Still no apology. Peyton chuckled. Planning to pin your screw up on my girl? Marcus's complexion modeled. The guy across from him was 10 years younger, someone he would have looked down on a decade ago. Now he was the one eating dust. After a long beat, Marcus stood. I'm sorry. I humiliated you without a thought. It was my fault. Before the words cooled, Leia barreled in. You still hung up on her, Marcus? What did you promise me? Her handbag whacked his skull in front of the whole cafe. Zero respect. Face crimson, Marcus dragged her away. Peyton hugged me possessively. Eyes on me, sophomore. Not him. Why bother? Some washed-up guy. If he'd been 5 years older, he never would have sniffed a Sinclair merger. I kept my voice low, but it landed square in Marcus's ear. Exactly. I wanted him to hear it. Back when he plotted to make me the punchline, I swore I'd pay him back. The Sinclair severed every contract with the Whitlocks. Stripped of our backing and with Leia adding 0 value, the Whitlocks nosedived. Chloe filled me in. Marcus and Leia were already divorced. Leia left without baggage. Kid included, she walked with 10 million and wrapped herself around the next trust fund prince. Big loud love affair. Instagram hashtags blazing. Marcus became the joke. Except this time the prince got bored inside 2 years and dropped her. Leia started rotating through the airs. But youth fades. Her spontaneous and wild act began to feel forced, knowing shelf life is short. She snagged a rich old geyser before 30. When he croaked, the will read, not a dime for her. Marcus, meanwhile, grabbed a socially equal bride in a panic merger. Later at a cocktail, someone dredged up the past. I kept their wedding vid. He ditches the Sinclair Aries for a rags-to-riches girlfriend. Look how that played out. Only then did he notice me sipping silently. Peyton draped an arm over my shoulder, staking claim. Trash my wife tossed. Nothing taboo about it. Dance has taste. Landed the beauty queen. Damn right. Glasses clinked. Marcus slipped in late. Among the trust fund princes, he'd faded to wallpaper. The crowd went in for the kill. Sorry, force of habit. Where's the missus? Oh right. Divorced ages ago. Give us the saga. You two were soulmates. Now you're strangers. What happened? Remember the vows? Only you. Forever you. That tornado pass yet? Ease up. He's blushing. Huh. Marcus set his jaw about to sit. The table wasn't done roasting him. Bang. He flung the chair back and stormed out. Temper. Temper. He can dish it but can't take it. Face lost his face earned. Who's to blame? I'll be retelling this till I'm 100. On the ride home, Peyton laced her fingers tight. Sophia, I won't pull a Marcus. I know. That night, shower fresh, he slid under the covers. Hot breath brushed my ear. Ready to make a baby dance? I rolled over and wrapped myself around him. Let's do it.